Hey guys, it's Janae. I hope everyone's doing well. Uh, if you knew how long this setup took me to set up, very frustrating, but we got it. We're doing it. My battery is very low, so I'm gonna try to do this as fast as I can. So this video, I wanted to talk about something that's kind of funny because I learned it in the same psychology class that I was talking about in my last video. We are learning about something, and I just found instantly, oh gosh, see, this is about to fall, y'all, and I saw it slowly falling. Okay, so like I was saying, in my psychology class, we're learning about something called immediate gratification versus delayed gratification. And that, instantly, as soon as I heard the explanation, heard the concept of it, I instantly just it clicked, it related to spiritual things, the Bible. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need to talk about this because this is so true and so applicable, and I don't know, it just ties together so well. And I think it's kind of a better, it kind of helps explain kind of humans and the things that they decide to do, the choices that they make. And yeah, so I'm gonna get right into it. So we were talking about immediate gratification versus delayed gratification. And well, before all that, let me ask you this question. So if you were presented with somebody who asked you, do you want $100 right now? You can take it, buy whatever you want, or in a year I'll give you $200. Which one would you take? And about 90% or more would pick the $100 because they're like, oh, if you're gonna give it to me now, I want it now, I want it in my hands now. And that's immediate gratification. So humans tend to want immediate gratification. They tend to lean towards that and desire that more than delayed gratification, even if the delayed reward is bigger. They still tend to gravitate towards immediate gratification. And that's kind of I instantly was like, oh my gosh, this is literally relates to the Bible, because people, God has promised us, paradise, to live with him forever. And he also has promised us, good things to come in our future. My favorite scripture, I'm going to say again, Jeremiah 29:11, I have, plans for you to give you hope in a future. He has so many promises for us. And we just have to trust him and have faith. And it's not going to be in our timing. It's not going to be when we want it, you know what I mean? We just have to trust God that his timing is perfect. But sometimes we lack that trust and belief in God, so we turn to immediate gratification. So for example, I'll use relationships for example. God has somebody out there for you, designed perfectly, made just for you. But sometimes, with this world, you see on social media, relationships, and you're like, oh, I just want, a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or just to not feel alone, or so there's so many side influences too. They're driving your behaviors and such. But all of that being said, people want immediate gratification. They want, their relationship now. They want to, have that connection with somebody now and not wait on God's timing and wait for God to bring that one person to you, because we're just like tired of waiting, and like we see everybody else like, oh my gosh, like they look so perfect. And don't be deceived by what you see on social media too, because sometimes a lot of couples, like, you know, aren't as perfect as they seem on social media, because social media, you know, we only broadcast the good parts of our lives. So don't be tricked by that. But yeah, so we want immediate gratification, but that only fills us temporarily. Like, it's just interesting how human beings like tend to, you know, just want that, like, I want it now. And I get it, and it like feels good now because I don't want to wait, like, you know what I mean? But then you miss out. And then, hold on, I'm thinking about so many things. But because you made that decision to not wait, there are typically a lot of hard. Oh my gosh, please let this work. Okay, my camera was about to fall, but we got it. But because people choose to choose immediate gratification, yes, it's like gratifying, and you're like, yes, I got it now, and it feels good and great, but that feeling is so fleeting, and then you miss, or that hole that you filled with that like relationship, or that I don't even know, like that sin that you committed, it's just fleeting. Like, you feel good, but then after that it's gone, and you feel back, like you feel like missing, and you feel sad, like you don't feel fulfilled. And so we continue to search for immediate gratification, and what we're doing is just missing out on God's promise, like on that delayed gratification that's gonna be fulfilling and gonna last forever, and gonna like fully fulfill our hearts, you know? Like, we're missing out on that because we're too focused on trying to feel something now, trying to get into relationships to not feel alone, or trying to put a band-aid over our wound, and not letting God heal our wounds and take like and wait for our season, you know? It takes time to get into certain seasons of your life, and you just have to trust God and have faith that He will like put you in those seasons of marriage or seasons of fulfillment. Like, you will get. All right, I am just continuing the as you saw in the first part of this video, I was talking about immediate gratification versus delayed gratification, and my battery was like literally about to die, so like it was felt kind of rushed, and I feel like I didn't explain stuff as fully as I wanted to, and like I didn't finish explaining some stuff, so I just wanted to continue that video and talk about the rest of what I wanted to talk about with that, from what I learned in my psychology class, and how like it for sure ties to you know, the Bible, and how we should, you know, should live, and yeah. Also, when I say like should live, I just want to make like a disclaimer, like God gives us free will, so like we don't have to do anything we don't like want to do. Like, He loves us so much that He like doesn't force us to love Him, you know what I mean? Which is just, oh my gosh, like so like, oh my gosh, just so good. Just like even just thinking about it, like during this time, Easter, let me just rant real quick, and then I'll get into the video. But like, you know, resurrection, like He you know, died for us, like for our like sinful, like ungrateful selves, and he died for us anyway because he just loves us so much despite the sins we have committed, are committing right now, or are going to commit in the future. Like, he loves us no matter what we've done or what we've been through, and he died on the cross for all of that, and so that we could have a chance to live with God eternally in paradise. And yeah, so I just think that's just so crazy and so powerful. And I just think that, I don't know, like, it's just like, how can you not love God, like, and just like thank him every single day for just everything, like waking you up, giving you breath to breathe, and giving you the ability to walk and drive, and just like little things like that. Like, that is all God. And yeah, but I'm gonna stop ranting now and get into the actual point of this video. So I think where I left off in the last video was that I think I was talking about how we, want immediate gratification, and how so we will like jump into relationships or like do something that we think will take our pain away, and we're kind of like trying to do things that will put band-aids on our wounds, and we try to take matters into our own hands and try to fix our own selves and try to fix our own pain and hurt, that we're not allowing the time and for God to heal, like really heal those wounds, and mend them, and put us back together. You know what I mean? With the psychological terms that I was talking about, when you choose, people tend to choose immediate gratification, but when you choose delayed gratification, immediate punishment is what you experience, because you're denying your flesh, you're like resisting. So like, for example, not just with like relationships, but if you're trying to eat healthier, and your end goal is to like lose weight and like be more toned and things like that, well, and that end goal is the delayed gratification. But what's immediately gratifying is eating cakes and cookies and processed foods, and it feels good when you do. It does. But then probably right after, like, you feel so bad and you're like, I really shouldn't have did that. Like, I was on a roll, and now I just feel like I'm 10 steps behind from my goal. But yeah, like immediately after, like, you're fulfilled and you're like, oh my gosh, so good, all of those cakes and cookies probably will later make your stomach hurt and you won't feel good, and you're just like, why did I do that to myself? And then taking it to like a relationship context, like, you see all these people on social media in relationships, and they look like they're in love, and like that everything's perfect, and you're like, oh my gosh, I want somebody to love me, not knowing that Jesus already loves you, so you should be fulfilled in that. But anyway, but I want somebody to love me, and I want to look as happy as them with someone. So then, like, you jump into a relationship trying to fill some kind of desire or hole or emptiness in you, to experience that kind of immediate gratification. But those holes that you have, and you're trying to use a person to fix, it's not gonna work out. And don't take my laughing as like, I just thought I'd say this, don't take my laughing as like you're like I'm demeaning, or like whatever the word is, like, you know, like laughing at you for making those choices. I just laugh because of anything and everything. But yeah, like, we just, during, like, when we, going back to the food analogy, like, when you resist those sweets, like, you're choosing immediate punishment. So when you choose to resist those sweets, you're choosing immediate punishment over immediate gratification. But in the long run, at the end, you will reach your goal, and you will reach that delayed gratification. It will feel so good, and, you know, you feel so fulfilled. And that's, like, kind of in the context of, like, Christianity. God has promised us so many great things for us, not only, like, in this life, but also, like, living in paradise with him eternally. Like, he has promised us so many things, like, good things to happen in our lives. But all we need to do is, you know, deny our flesh and have faith in God and trust in God that he will make good on his promises, because he literally is a God that cannot lie. So if he makes those promises, like, they will be fulfilled, just maybe not in the time that we want them to, or we think that they should come, but it will be God's perfect timing. And so we just have to have faith and trust God that he will give us, you know, our I know people don't believe in, like, soulmates or whatever, but or, like, the right person for you. That's a whole different topic. But yeah, like, you just need to trust him, and, like, he, like I said in the first part of this clip, like, Jeremiah 29:11, like, I love that verse so much. Like, it's really, it's just a verse that will always, like, touch my heart and, like, be near and dear to me, and yeah, I just really like it. But it's just so calming, like, when you read it too. Like, you just know, like, God does not cause you harm. He does not want, he does not wish harm on your life. Like, he wishes you, like, joy and happiness and a happy and bright future. And so, yeah, with all that being said, like, you know, when we choose to engage in sin, we are saying, God, I don't trust you. God, I don't believe that you will fulfill your promise to me. Like, God, I don't believe you. When we choose our way, when we choose to do life our way and get into a relationship now and do things the way you want to now, you're saying, God, I don't trust you with my life. God, I don't have faith that you will, you know, give me, like, the man of my dreams, or give me, like, a beautiful, strong wife. Like, I don't believe that. I don't trust that. Like, that's what we're saying when we choose our way, when we choose to sin. Let's see how I can, like, type that in. Because I have notes, y'all, but, like, sometimes I go on tangents. But, yeah, sometimes, back to immediate punishment. Like, when you don't choose to immediately gratify yourself, yes, you will experience immediate punishment. But during that season, during that time, that's the time that, you know, God will be, you know, speaking to you and, you know, healing what's going on in your heart, healing those wounds, you know, before you jump into, like, that kind of relationship and then jump in it with all of your, like, insecurities and hurt from past relationships. Like, you don't want to put that on someone. yes, I know you want to be loved, but, you know, God can love you, and God can fulfill those, like, fulfill, you know, your, like, desires, and, he can just, like, fulfill your, you know, heart, and, yeah, I don't know, but it's just, like, we should not turn to man, who are imperfect, who sin, who will let you down, you know. We should not turn to man, like men or women, to heal us, you know what I mean. This is kind of going off topic just a little bit, so maybe I'll make, like, a different video, like, more about, like, relationships and stuff, but yeah, during that time, like, you may experience immediate punishment for not, you know, getting to that relationship, or, like, eating that cookie. But, you know, in the end, like, God will give you the desires of your heart, and he will fulfill those promises. It's just, it's not going to be in the time that we want it, but it will be the right time, you know what I mean? Because God's timing is perfect timing, so it will be the right time. So we just need to, like, let go and stop controlling stuff, because that just causes more hurt and destruction. Hurt in you, hurt on the other person in the relationship, destruction, like a domino effect. People around you that you are in relationship with, it doesn't even have to be, like, a dating relationship, you know, that those decisions that you choose to make cause destruction and ripple effects in other people's lives too. So, you know, just trusting God and, like, walking, you know, on the path that he has for you, will get you to that delayed gratification, like, whole, in one piece, and not broken, and not, like, have experienced, like, so much heartache and heartbreak, and then you finally find the one for you, but then you're then having to deal with all the pain and heartache that you've experienced from the choices that you made along the way that weren't God's intention for you, you know. Like, it would just be so much easier, you know, to just follow him and trust him. But, you know, sometimes, you know, people, like, we're not perfect. Like, we're not perfect. So we, you know, sometimes people tend to just want things now, you know, want to be, like, immediately gratified now, you know. Some people, well, this is maybe a little bit off topic, but, some people, like, when somebody says, like, don't do this, this is not good for you, some people will hear that, like, yeah, I hear you, but, like, I don't really hear that, because I'm gonna do it anyway. And until I actually experience the warning that you warned me about, like, until I experience it myself, like, they're not, like actually consciously thinking this, but subconsciously some people are, like, don't believe that, like, you know, when somebody says don't do this, it's bad for you, like, they just don't kind of listen and do it anyway. So a lot of people will put themselves through those things, and then we'll learn, like, oh, that I probably shouldn't have did that. But sometimes people only learn through going through it. I'm not that type of person. I'm like, if somebody says, like, this is a bad idea, like, I am gonna stray away from that, because I don't want any kind of anybody to mess up my peace and contentness, you know what I mean? But some people are like that, you know. Some people are like, some people are a little stubborn and are like, I hear you, but let me just like experience the heartbreak and pain and destruction first, and then, you know what I mean? But let me go back onto the topic of immediate and delayed gratification. So yeah, so in my notes it also says, like, we as humans, like, when we choose, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, y'all. This will get better as we keep doing this. Like I said before, when people choose delayed gratification, they are also choosing immediate punishment. But that goes like the other way too. We as humans, when we choose immediate gratification, we are choosing delayed punishment. So I hope that you were able to follow along with that. So we as humans are sinful, like, imperfect selves. Like, we tend to choose immediate gratification, like we want it now. When we make that decision, we're also making the decision of experiencing delayed punishment. But we're like, oh, you know, that's okay. Like, not consciously, but like subconsciously, it's like, it's in like the future, you know, like, it's okay. Like, the delayed punishment, like, it's not even here yet, so we're not even gonna worry about it. That's kind of the mentality that some people have. But it's like, you know, in terms of eternity, you know, we don't know. Like, we honestly do not know when our last day on this earth is. Like, when you really, like, think about it, like, our days are not promised. So is it really a delayed punishment? Is it really a punishment that won't occur until like 50 years or 10 years? Or what if it's tomorrow? You know, what if your last moments are today and you wake up and you're not here? Yes, kind of scary to think about, but you know, let me backtrack just a little bit. So when we're choosing those things that gratify us immediately, when we're choosing to sin, when we're choosing to engage in those things, when we choose sin, we're also choosing to deny God and His faithfulness and all of His, like, promises to us. We are also choosing to not believe in that and not to have faith when we choose to sin. And the thing is, like, when we choose to sin, like, we choose it because it feels good. And okay, yeah, like, we're all sinful and human beings, so you can't even tell me that you have never sinned before. And that's okay if you sin, because we're all imperfect. But as I'm saying, I'm sorry, but what I'm saying is, like, people choose sin. Why? Because it feels good and it's satisfying in the moment, but it only fills us for, like, literally a fleeting second. Like, you're like, oh, this is, like, great, amazing, oh my gosh. But then after, you don't really feel fulfilled anymore. Like, after the drink, after, like, the smoke, like, after the high, like, you're just like, I'm back to where I was, like, empty, you know? It really only fulfills us, like, for a fleeting second, like. And the thing is, like, most of us don't realize that those fleeting seconds of gratification, we're literally choosing that over an eternal, everlasting, like, joy and peace and, like, complete fulfillment. Like, And most of us don't realize that. Like if you really think about it, like those, like when we commit sins, like, you know, it feels good, but then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm empty. I'm, you know, still longing for things. And so you continually try to find things to gratify yourself immediately. But when we do that, like, we're literally saying, I'd rather have those fleeting moments than to choose to live in paradise, to choose eternal life with God, like, for the rest of my life. Like, that's literally what we're saying. Like, if you really think about it. And it's just really, like, it's really disheartening. It's heartbreaking. And I know I just gave you a ton of information, and maybe this has really made you think. That was a lot, I know. If you ever want to talk, my DMs are always open, and like Instagram, you can chat in the comments below. We can talk, and I'll answer any questions that you have, or anything that's on your mind. Just like, we can talk. I did end on kind of a rough, like, note, so I do want to say, like, we can, like, you know, kind of what we need to do is, you know, deny our flesh and just trust God and believe that He will fulfill those promises, and, you know, just, like, give your life to Christ. And honestly, like I said in my video before, like, it's not going to be perfect, like, and people who are Christians know that, like, denying your flesh is, like, some people, it's, like, the hardest thing to do, and it's, like, not fun, but, you know, they know, like, what's in store, you know, they know, and they have faith that, you know, God has so much more for us, and, like, denying your flesh, like, that's so little compared to what He has in store for you. Like, that, those sins and things like that, like, you won't even, like, your mind won't even be on that, because once you come into what God has for you, like, you're gonna be just so overwhelmed and filled with joy with that. So it's just about, like, you know, discipline and just trusting in God, and He, like, will He will never fail us, guys. But yeah, that's just what it takes. And, you know, it's not gonna be our time and the way that we want it, but it's gonna be so much better than that, and it's gonna be in the perfect time, God's timing, the way that, when it should happen and when it's supposed to happen. You know, it shouldn't be up to us to, you know, have that relationship now, or, like, get married now, or, you know, do this, that, now, because you're gonna miss out on, like, the good that God has for you if you try to do it your own way and try to immediately gratify yourself now, and not wait for that delayed but even bigger, longer, like, amazing, gratifying, like, things that God has for us. So yes, I'm gonna stop it there because I've been talking a lot. But I hope you liked this video. If you do, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Like, comment, share to people who you think will, you know, really be touched by this. And yeah, so oh my gosh, that car's really close. But yeah, like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I will see you in the next video. Yeah, I'm gonna end it here because there's somebody right across from me. And it's weird talking to yourself in the car. So bye.